I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. I will be still an instant, and go home. I will be still an instant, and go home. Why would I choose to stay an instant more where I do not belong, when God Himself has given me His voice to call me home? I will be still an instant, and go home. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. I will be still an instant and go home. Well, I'm Miracle Willie, forgiveness teacher from the Ozarks, here on Saturday, July the 20th of 2024. And from the Foundation for Inner Peace version of A Course in Miracles, we're reading lesson 202, which is our 6th review. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. I will be still an instant and go home. Why would I choose to stay an instant more where I do not belong, when God Himself has given me His voice to call me home? I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. I will be still an instant and go home. And just a quick reminder out of our review introduction, besides the time you give morning and evening, which should not be less than 15 minutes, and the hourly remembrance you make throughout the day, use the idea as often as you can between them. So all day long, just be thinking about this idea. I will be still an instant and go home. Of course, sandwiched within that idea, I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. The day begins and ends with this idea, and we repeat it every time the hour strikes, or we remember in between. We have a function that transcends the world we see. Beyond this, and a repetition of the special thought we practice for the day, no form of exercise is urged, except a deep relinquishment of everything that clutters up the mind and makes it deaf to reason, sanity, and simple truth. So we're going to say that idea as many times as you can, but at least once an hour throughout the day. Tell yourself, I'm not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. And today, tell yourself, I will be still an instant and go home. And then do it. We merely close our eyes and then forget all that we thought we knew and understood. Can we do that? Just be in that freewheeling place where we just, how does he say it? Forget all that we thought we knew and understood. There's but one exception to this lack of structuring. Permit no idle thought to go unchallenged. If you noticed one, deny its hold and hasten to assure your mind that this is not what it would have. Then gently let the thought which you denied be given up in sure and quick exchange for the idea we practice for the day. So while you're meditating, if you get a thought that's not part of the lesson or part of your, a thought that's of the world, a thought that's pulling you away from being still and quiet, well, then just dismiss it with this. And you can also use this throughout the day if you're tempted to get upset or discouraged or not cheerful. When you're tempted, hasten to proclaim your freedom from temptation as you say, This thought I do not want. I choose instead, I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. I will be still an instant and go home. And then repeat the idea for the day and let it take the place of what you thought. And of course, I just did it for you. Okay, you kind of get an idea of what we're supposed to be doing for these next 19 or 18 days. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. Should be said every hour of the day, and hang out with it a little longer, morning and evening, 15 minutes, morning and evening. Along with the idea, I will be still an instant and go home. And the associated reading with that was, why would I choose to stay an instant more where I do not belong, when God himself has given me his voice to call me home? Let's listen to God's voice and go home. Okay, let's go look at our text reading now. And we're in chapter 21, Reason and Perception, the last unanswered question, which is section 7. And while you're turning there, out of holidays and observances, and Fitch Day was, I looked it up yesterday, and they'd give a fitch of bacon, which is a slab of bacon, to any couple that had not wanted to separate the first year that they were married. Year and a day, you know, the hand fastening thing. If they stayed together, then the community would give them a big slab of bacon. That was kind of a medieval time ceremony. You know, that sounded like a pretty nice thing. Fortune cookie day, cake day, chess day, good day to play chess, moon day, nap day, take a nap, maybe pull your hammock out and take a nap. Bridal sale day, ice cream soda day, lollipop day, ugly truck contest day, woody wagon day, space exploration day, strawberry rhubarb wine day, toss away the could haves and should haves day, women's dive day, and world jump day. Okay, and then on out of edible landscaping, we have the Feijoa, a Feijoa, also known as a pineapple guava. It's an Aca celowiana, and out of edible landscaping, it says that the pineapple guava, or the Feijoa, is an attractive evergreen shrub bearing delicious fruits with an unusual, refreshing pineapple mint flavor. The leaves are soft green on top and silvery underneath. 1 inch wide, fuchsia-like, white petal flowers have showy red centers reminiscent of fuchsia flowers. The white petals are one of the best tasting edible flowers. Low maintenance plant, no insects or diseases affected. Withstands temperatures from about 5 to 12 degrees Fahrenheit. Zone 7, sheltered in Zone 7, so we'd have a hard time doing it here in Zone 6. Up to Zone 9. At our nursery, which is Zone 7, space 6 to 8 foot circle in Zone 7 and 10 to 12 foot in Zone 8 and 9. Plant 2 plants to ensure pollination. So that's your pineapple guava, or the Feijoa. Okay, now let's go take a look at our reading. The last unanswered question. Do you not see that all your misery comes from the strange belief that you are powerless? Being helpless is the cost of sin. Helplessness is sin's condition, the one requirement that it demands to be believed. Only the helpless could believe in it. Only the helpless could believe in sin. Enormity has no appeal save to the little, and only those who first believe that they are little could see attraction there. Treachery to the Son of God is the defense of those who do not identify with him, and you are for him or against him. Either you love him or attack him, protect his unity or see him shattered and slain by your attack. Paragraph 2. No one believes the Son of God is powerless, and those who see themselves as helpless must believe they are not the Son of God. What can they be except his enemy? And what can they do but envy him whose power and by their envy make themselves afraid of it. These are the dark ones, silent and afraid, alone and not communicating, fearful the power of the Son of God will strike them dead, and raising up their helplessness against him. They join the army of the powerless to wage their war of vengeance, bitterness, and spite on him, to make him one with them. The army of the powerless. Because they do not know that they are one with him, they know not whom they hate. They are indeed a sorry army, each one as likely to attack his brother or turn upon himself as to remember that they thought they had a common cause. Paragraph 3. Frantic and loud and strong the dark ones seem to be, yet they know not their enemy, except they hate him. In hatred they have come together, but have not joined each other, for had they done so, hatred would be impossible. The army of the powerless must be disbanded in the presence of strength. Those who are strong are never treacherous, because they have no need to dream of power and to act out their dream. How would an army act in dreams? Any way at all. It could be seen attacking anyone with anything. Dreams have no reason in them. A flower turns into a poisoned spear. A child becomes a giant, and a mouse roars like a lion. And love is turned to hate as easily. This is no army, but a madhouse. What seems to be a planned attack is bedlam. Paragraph 4. The army of the powerless is weak indeed. It has no weapons, and it has no enemy. Yet it can overrun the world and seek an enemy. But it can never find what is not there. Yes, it can dream it found an enemy, but this will shift even as it attacks, so that it runs at once to find another, and never comes to rest in victory. And as it runs, it turns against itself, thinking it caught a glimpse of the great enemy who always eludes its murderous attack by turning into something else. How treacherous does this enemy appear, who changes so it is impossible even to recognize him. Shape-shifting enemy, huh? Paragraph 5. But there's something behind it all he wants us to see. Yet hate must have a target. There can be no faith in sin without an enemy. Who that believes in sin would dare believe he has no enemy? Could he admit that no one made him powerless? Reason would surely bid him seek no longer what is not there to find. Yet first he must be willing to perceive a world where it is not. It is not necessary that he understand how he can see it, nor should he try. For if he focuses on what he cannot understand, he will but emphasize his helplessness, and let sin tell him that his enemy must be himself. But let him only ask himself these questions, which he must decide to have it done for him. Do I desire a world I rule instead of one that rules me? Do I desire a world where I am powerful instead of helpless? Do I desire a world in which I have no enemies and cannot sin? And do I want to see what I denied because it is the truth? You may already have answered the first 3 questions, but not yet the last. For this one still seems fearful and unlike the others. Yet reason would assure you they are all the same. Okay, let's read those 3 questions and the last one again. Do I desire a world I rule instead of one that rules me? Do I desire a world where I am powerful instead of helpless? Do I desire a world in which I have no enemies and cannot sin? And do I want to see what I denied because it is the truth? You may already have answered the first 3 questions, but not yet the last. For this one still seems fearful and unlike the others. Yet reason would assure you they are all the same. We said this year would emphasize the sameness of things that are the same. This final question, which is indeed the last you need decide, still seems to hold a threat the rest have lost for you. And this imagined difference attests to your belief that truth may be the enemy you yet may find. And here then would seem to be the last remaining hope of finding sin and not accepting power. Paragraph 7. Forget not that the choice of sin or truth, helplessness or power, is the choice of whether to attack or heal. Catch this. Forget not that the choice of sin or truth, helplessness or power, is the choice of whether to attack or heal. I'll remember that next time you feel like lashing out against somebody. For healing comes of power, and attack of helplessness. Whom you attack you cannot want to heal, and whom you would have healed must be one with you to be protected from attack. And what is this decision but the choice whether to see him through the body's eyes or let him be revealed to you through vision? You're going to look at him through the body's eyes as really an unreal entity, but that'll appear real in the physical world, or to see him through the eyes of Christ, what he calls vision, which is revealed to you. You have either way you can see anyone. It's which one do you desire? How this decision leads to its effects is not your problem, but what you want to see must be your choice. This is a course in cause and not effect. Consider, paragraph 8, consider carefully your answer to the last question you have left unanswered still. That last question, and do I want to see what I denied because it is the truth? Consider carefully your answer to the last question you have left unanswered still, and let your reason tell you that it must be answered and is answered in the other three. And then it will be clear to you that as you look on the effects of sin in any form, all you need do is simply ask yourself, is this what I would see? Do I want this? Do you want to have the pain of seeing sin? Or do you want to have the joyous liberation of vision and seeing your brothers and sisters as sinless? So is this what I would see? Do I want this? This is your one decision. This the condition for what occurs. It is irrelevant to how it happens, but not to why. You have control of this, and if you choose to see a world without an enemy, in which you are not helpless, the means to see it will be given you. Paragraph 10. Why is the final question so important? Reason will tell you why. It is the same as the other three, except in time. The others are decisions that can be made, and then unmade and made again. But truth is constant and implies a state where vacillations are impossible. You can desire a world you rule that rules you not and change your mind. You can desire to exchange your helplessness for power and lose the same desire as a little glint of sin attracts you. And you can want to see a sinless world and let an, in quotes, enemy tempt you to use the body's eyes and change what you desire. 11. In content, all the questions are the same, for each one asks if you are willing to exchange the world of sin for what the Holy Spirit sees, since it is this the world of sin denies. And therefore those who look on sin are seeing the denial of the real world. Yet the last question adds the wish for constancy in your desire to see the real world. So the desire becomes the only one you have. By answering the final question, yes, you add sincerity to the decision you have already made to all the rest. For only then have you renounced the option to change your mind again. When it is this you do not want, the rest are wholly answered. When it is this you do not want, the rest are wholly answered. Paragraph 12. Why do you think you are unsure the others have been answered? Could it be necessary they be asked so often if they had? Until the last decision has been made, the answer is both yes and no. For you have answered yes without perceiving that yes must mean not no. No one decides against his happiness, but he may do so if he does not see he does it. And if he sees his happiness as ever-changing, now this, now that, and now an elusive shadow attached to nothing, he does decide against it. And the last paragraph, 13. Elusive happiness, or happiness in changing form that shifts with time and place, is an illusion that has no meaning. Happiness must be constant, because it is attained by giving up the wish for the inconstant. Joy cannot be perceived except through constant vision, and constant vision can be given only those who wish for constancy. The power of the Son of God's desire remains the proof that he is wrong who sees himself as helpless. Desire what you want, and you will look on it and think it real. No thought but has the power to release or kill, and none can leave the thinker's mind or leave him unaffected. Oh, the power of our desire. That's what we're working with, what we will desire what we value. So we're working with our value system to determine what is it that we truly want. And now back on lesson 190, we sang a song, I Choose the Joy of God Instead of Pain. That was last year. And we went through this section on that particular day, so we sang it with that tune. So let's just sing that, Do I Desire a World Instead of What Rules Me? And so last year we sang on lesson 190, I choose the joy of God instead of pain. Do I desire a world I rule instead of one which rules me? Do I desire a world I rule instead of one which rules me? Do I desire a world where I am powerful instead of helpless? Do I desire a world in which I have no enemies and cannot sin? And do I want to see what I deny because it is the truth? As you look on the effect of sin, ask yourself, is this what I would see? Do I want this? Again, do I desire a world I rule instead of one which rules me? Do I desire a world where I am powerful instead of helpless? Do I desire a world in which I have no enemies and cannot sin? And do I want to see what I denied because it is the truth? As you look on the effect of sin, ask yourself, is this what I would see? Do I want this? As you look on the effect of sin, ask yourself, is this what I would see? Do I want this? I choose the joy of God instead of pain. Do I desire a world I rule instead of one which rules me? Do I desire a world where I am powerful instead of helpless? Do I desire a world in which I have no enemies and cannot sin? And do I want to see what I deny because it is the truth? As you look on the effect of sin, ask yourself, is this what I would see? Do I want this? Okay. And then our lesson again, I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me, and I will be still an instant and go home. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. I will be still an instant and go home. I will be still an instant and go home. Why would I choose to stay an instant more where I do not belong, when God Himself has given me His voice to call me home? Why would I choose to stay an instant more where I do not belong, when God Himself has given me His voice to call me home? When God Himself has given me His voice to call me home, I will be still an instant and go home. I will be still an instant and go home. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. And our word for peace today is out of the Caucasian language or people of Micronesia, and it's Mihs. M-I-H-S. I would think that'd be pronounced Miss. Maybe a lot of air in the middle. A Miss. I don't know for sure. Caucasian language of Micronesia. Peace is Mihs. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. I will be still an instant and go home. Why would I choose to stay an instant more where I do not belong, when God Himself has given me His voice to call me home? I will be still an instant and go home. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. I will be still an instant and go home. Miss.